Hola, hola, and welcome to Cultura Cash. This is Gigi, your host. I'm a influencer, financial educator, speaker, and the award-winning author of Cultura Cash. On today's episode, I'll be sharing do's and don'ts for book endorsements. So this episode's a little bit more geeky when it comes to book publishing, book writing. So it is a must listen for aspiring authors. Even if you are not an aspiring author, I still think it would be an interesting episode for you to listen to hear what goes behind the scenes on getting these book blurbs. But first, some quick notes at the top of the show. First, on a personal update, I am so excited to share that we are getting a dog. A lot of you know my sweet girl Bailey passed away in February. I cry for her several times a week, and I am ready for another dog. To me, a home does not feel like a home without a dog. So now that we are adjusted into our new place in Spain, we asked the landlord if it'd be okay to bring a pet, and luckily they said yes. You know, they've seen that we're responsible tenants, we're clean, we pay rent on time, so I'm really excited. Unfortunately, I won't be able to get a dog until November. Right now I'm recording this end of August because I'm traveling for work to the States in September and October, and then in October we actually have a planned trip to Mallorca, so that'll be at the end of October. So come November will be when I'll be able to do some scouting. We already narrowed down several rescues and shelters here, and I'm really excited about finding another love. I'm so excited. All right, and then next, let's talk about Phoenix. So I have 2 Phoenix events you can attend. This one I haven't talked about yet. So the one that I've mentioned before on the podcast and on social media has been the book stop with Gina Moreno at Fairtrade Cafe on September 11th. Before I go into that one, this is actually the reason why I'm going to be in Phoenix. So this is a free event. It's open to the public. The Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is flying me out to talk to college students about the importance of financial literacy. This event, again, is on September 10th. It's from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Phoenix College. And the first 100 attendees get a free book for Cultura Cash. We will have a fireside chat followed by a book signing. If you don't plan to get there and be one of the first 100 attendees to have a book, or if you already have your book, bring your own book so that I can sign it for you and we can do a meet and greet that way, because there will not be books available for sale on that day. And again, this event is brought to you by the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce on September 10th. I'll include the link on where you can register in the show notes. The second event will be the next day, and this will be the one that you've heard about. There are still tickets for the author stop on September 11th at 7 to 9 p.m. with Gina Moreno. And I will also include the link for the tickets in the show notes. This one I've talked about several times. Now that you're hearing about both events, maybe one date works better for you than the other. Maybe you want to attend both. If you have questions about which one you should attend, we'll hear some things to consider. The first one, the one with the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, it's free. You just have to register. The second one is $15, so it's a very low cost for you to commit to going to the event. The 2 events are going to have different vibes though. So for example, the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce event, I'm very much sticking to their agendas, what the priorities are for their students, right? So that means that we have to keep it PC, I have to keep it clean, and the audience will be people of all ages. There will be current students, past students, and their parents. So at this event, think of getting more of like the corporate me, right? Again, buttoned up, because there's a certain demographic, right, that I have to cater to. And the second event, which is at the coffee shop, totally different vibe. It's mostly women, I would say age 25 to 40, 45. This is not PC and not clean. It is very unfiltered, very unhinged. So think of it like a TikTok live with me if you ever attended one. and no questions are off the table. So it's just a very different vibe, and that's why I enjoy doing them, because I just get to be a little bit more loose, right? And we can definitely talk more about politics, current events, things like that going on at this second event. So again, if you can make it to both, that'd be great. If you can just make it to one, I'd love to see you. But if you are able to come, again, the tickets to register for free or to pay the $15 for the coffee event are in the show notes. Ooh, that was a mouthful. Okay, now back to today's topics, do's and don'ts for book endorsements. First, you might be wondering, if you are not in the book world, what the hell is a book endorsement? They're also called book blurbs or advanced praise. And what that is when somebody or an organization reads your book in advance before it comes out, and then they write a short quote saying, this book is a must read, it'll change your life, and then they put their name. So basically you get to clout chase off this person's endorsement, right? They're basically recommending your book to readers. So for example, for me, I think I had like 12 amazing women, mostly Latina, that endorsed my book. I had Maribet from The Mujerista. I had Janice from Yo Quiero Dinero. I had Vanessa Santos from We All Grow Latina. So, of course, I had Eva's. Eva's is the shortest one, so it's very easy for me to read it. Eva Longoria says, Cultura Cash empowers you to improve your relationship with money in an authentic and relatable way. A much-needed resource for our comunidad. Bravo, Gigi. So that is what a book blurb or an advanced praise or a book endorsement is. And the best endorsements come from other authors, other leaders in your space. So for example, my book being a money book, it really wouldn't have helped if I would have gotten an endorsement from, I don't know, like a fantasy writer, right? But it's definitely going to carry more weight if it's somebody who's a fellow influencer, fellow financial educator, a podcaster that's respected in the space that talks about money, like Jamila and her podcast. So think about who those people are, right? To kind of be able to narrow them down. Celebrities, of course, carry weight because everybody knows the celebrity and they're like, wow, how did you get this book in front of a celebrity and how did they actually, sign off on it? You can also get book endorsements from publications. So the big authors will get like the New York Times or whatever publication, Time Magazine, to write a short blurb, a must read for the century, something like. It's usually something very short when it's from those publications. And what do book blurbs do? Are they necessary? I would argue they are, especially for first-time authors. Especially for, I would argue, nonfiction books, which that's what Cultura Cash is. The fiction world is very different. I'm not even going to try to tackle it because, again, it's not within my scope. But I know that at least for the nonfiction space, it is helpful to have people endorse your book, recommend it to other readers, because it brings credibility, especially if you are just starting out as a new author and people aren't sure of, should I buy this book? Is it just going to be another book that's going to be sitting on my shelf that I'm never going to read? Is it just like a quick money grab? And is it not going to be like my taste, my style, right? So book blurbs help with that. It helps elevate the credibility of the book. It helps getting the word out of the book. And in the media, I would say book blurbs were especially helpful. I remember when I was working with my publicist, she asked me, who endorsed your book? And then when she would do the pitches to the different media outlets to try to get an interview with them for me to promote the book, we always included like the top 3 women that my publicist deemed the top 3 women to show, hey, these women have endorsed the book. And that carries weight because, again, the media, whether it's a TV station or what a podcast, they want to be able to be like, oh my God, Eva endorsed this book. Tell us more about it, right? So it does carry weight, I would argue. Does it make or break your book? I don't think so. I think there can be some crappy books with good endorsements. But yeah, I mean, I would say for myself personally, I remember when I first got Alejandra's book, First Gen, shout out to my friend Alejandra. And I saw her blurbs and I'm like, oh my gosh, she has all these New York Times bestsellers. I'm like, this is legit, right? Like she has connections and people are really backing this book up. So I knew it was going to be a good read. And sure enough, it was an amazing read. It's a great book, First Gen by Alejandra Campoverde. All right. So now that we've talked about what book blurbs are, I want to share some do's and don'ts. So do's, start building the relationship with this potential endorser way before you make the ask, because this way it'll be more natural. I started fostering relationships with other authors, other industry leaders, right when I started, honestly, becoming a TikTok creator, which is back in 2021. I always knew that the book was going to come down the line, so I knew it was important for me to foster those relationships. Plus, it's cool to be in community with like-minded people. But that takes time, that takes energy, right? Having to meet people in person, doing a virtual coffee chat. If you're not able to do those things, supporting them online with their work, helping them get the word out on their projects, so that when you ask for the favor, it'll be more natural and it won't come out of nowhere. The ask won't come out of nowhere, right? Similarly, a don't is don't cold email and ask people to endorse a book for you. I will say I was so tempted, so tempted to email Tiffany the Budgetista. For any of you guys who don't know, Tiffany has a New York Times bestselling book. It's called Get Good with Money. I have been interviewed on her podcast, Brown Ambition, when she used to be on it. This is back in, let's say, I don't know, the spring of 2024. And we got along great. And now knowing Tiffany, I know she would have endorsed it. But when I was looking for endorsements, which was actually in the fall before my book launched in January, I didn't know Tiffany. I knew people that knew Tiffany, so I could have asked for an introduction, but it still felt like too clout chasing because I'm like, I don't have a relationship with Tiffany for her to sign off on this. So I decided not to. But I will say, I know there are a lot of authors that cold email established authors and say, hey, I love your work. I know you don't know me, but this is what my book is about. And if you would consider endorsing it, it would really mean a lot. And it's helped. I know part of the reason why I didn't reach out to Tiffany is because she actually talked about this. I was a part of her Patreon membership for a while, and she would say how she would get random requests, and she's like, I don't know you. I can't endorse something if I don't know you, right? Like, again, that relationship is important. And I'm the same way. Like if I don't know you, I mean, I'll take a look at it, I'll consider it, but it's probably going to be a no. Because again, vouching for somebody else and for their work and their core message, that's a lot. That's putting your name on the line, right? So it really has to be with somebody that you're aligned with. And you can only know if you're aligned with somebody if you have a past relationship with them. So again, I personally would not cold email. If you are fine with doing it and getting some no's, that is your deal. But my personal advice would be not to. But again, I do know authors that have been successful in cold emailing and getting those book blurbs. All right, the second do, start the outreach early. I mentioned that I did my outreach in the fall when my book wasn't published until January. I actually started my outreach. So I put a list of like 14 women that I'm like, oh my God, if these women give me an endorsement, it would be a dream. Out of those 14, I got 12. So pretty good, right? Pretty good numbers. I started the outreach 6 weeks before they were due. So my publisher had given me a deadline of, if you want these included in the book, they need to be submitted by October X, whatever the date was. I wish I would have given myself and those women 8 weeks, because it's actually, it's just more time, right? People have a lot going on. They're busy with their own priorities, with work, with life, family. So 6 weeks felt a little tight for me, but it was doable. Some people do it much shorter. I would not recommend that. And again, that's going to be a part of the don'ts that I'll just cover in a second. When you do your outreach, also keep in mind the time of the year. Like 8 weeks is great if it's not like a super busy time. But if it's the holidays, like during Christmas, New Year's, a lot of people are traveling, they're with family, they're taking time off, and reading your book and writing a blurb is not going to be their priority during that time. It's their priority to be with family and to be enjoying the time off and the holidays, right? So if that's the case, then you'll probably need more time. So the more time that you give people to read your book, get the grasp of your book, and they don't have to read it cover to cover, but if they get the gist of it, they are then able to feel more comfortable and write a blurb for you. I do want to add, that doesn't mean start your outreach 6 months before. That's too long. Like, people will forget. So it has to be a timeline, like I said, 6 to 8 weeks, maybe 10 weeks tops, where it makes sense that, hey, this book is coming out in a next quarter. I would love your support with this, and giving people time to read it and write a blurb. Do not email somebody with a deadline of the end of the week, which, believe it or not, I have gotten. I was emailed by a new author, and I have a soft spot for new authors because I was just a new author not long ago, right? So I know how vulnerable you can feel, how intimidating it can be to make these asks, but there's also a way to go about it. So for me to get an email saying, hey, can you endorse this book? And can I have the blurb by the end of the week? With no PDF of the manuscript, with no content of the book, just wanting my approval, my endorsement. I'm like, no, I don't. First of all, I can't do this in a week. Second of all, I'm not going to sign off or give a green light on something that I haven't read, right? So do not do that. Give yourself and the potential endorser plenty of time to read, consider, and write a review. The other be respectful when asking for this blurb, because at the end of the day, you are asking somebody, again, either a celebrity, an industry leader, another author. These are all successful and busy people. You are asking them for their time to read your book and to write an endorsement for your project. That is a favor, okay? So let them know that you are very thankful for the consideration. Let them know why you admire them, and let them know that you'll be following up regularly to make sure that they're progressing on that, because I knew a mistake I didn't want to make is I didn't want to send it out, 6 weeks out and then follow up the week that it was due. And, hey, remember that PDF that I sent you about my book? Did you read it? And do you want to buy? Are you still going to write me a blurb? Like, that can easily fall to the wayside. So it was important for me to follow up on a regular basis. For me, what worked was every 2 weeks. Hey, just checking in. Hopefully you didn't forget about me. Here's the PDF again if you need it. I know you're busy. Again, I really appreciate you considering this, blah, blah, blah. So it's important to do that, because, again, that falls on you. This is your project. This is your baby. And these people are doing you a favor. So that's why you have to do the heavy lifting. Don't hear, which goes hand in hand with this one. When reaching out to potential people to write a book blurb for you, do not call it an opportunity. I've gotten this one several times. Book blurb opportunity for X author. And I'm like, opportunity, girl? Who is the opportunity for, you or me, right? Because I'm a published author. I'm good, right? At the end of the day, a book blurb is a way for you to clout chase off that other person's audience and expertise and brand recognition, right? So to me, honestly, it might sound petty, but to me, come at me correct and say, request for a blurb, consideration for a blurb, but don't call it an opportunity, because for me, it is not an opportunity to have to spend time reading your book when I have a ton of other things on my list to do for, again, my life, my work, my relationship, my health, right? I have a lot of other things on my plate. So it is very much a favor. So do not call it an opportunity. And be just, again, back to being very considerate and respectful when making that ask. Another please do it yourself. When you reach out to do that request, when you ask for that favor, Please take the time to make a personalized message and let that person know why it would be important to have them support your book, right, for your reader. Why you respect them as an industry leader, why your readers would care to hear from them and have them support your book. That's going to go way further than just, hey, I'm writing a book. Can you write me a blurb? Right? So again, take the time to do it yourself and personalize it. I mean, you shouldn't be reaching out to 50 random people. These again, should be people in your network that you should be able to connect with. And the don't here is do not have an assistant or a stranger reach out and do it for you, which again, this has happened as well. Hey, I'm so-and-so's assistant. She's writing a book. Can you endorse a book? Why am I not hearing from her? If I've had a relationship with her via DMs, we've DM'd a couple times, we've been following each other a couple times, why can't she take the time to message me? Even if it is her assistant from her email, so it makes it look like it's her, like at least be a little smarter, right? But for it to straight up be like, I'm so-and-so's assistant and I'm helping her with this, to me, it rubs me the wrong way. Some other people might not care, but for me, relationship nurturing and building is very important. So I like that personal touch. I think it's more than fair that once the person has committed to, oh, this is definitely something that I would love to help you with and let me consider this. I think at that point, if you really can't continue the follow-up yourself, it would be appropriate to hand it off to an assistant and say, oh my God, thank you so much for considering this. You know what? I have a lot on my plate with the book launch right now, but my assistant Veronica will be in touch with you every 2 weeks to make sure that this isn't get forgotten, right? I personally did the follow-up myself because, again, relationships are important to me. So I was very hands-on when it came to this process, but excuse me, but it's more than okay if you want to be hands-off. Sorry, let me get some water. All right, and the last do and don't. Do offer sample blurbs for inspiration. A lot of people that get these requests, it probably isn't the first time they've gotten requests like this, so they already know what to write, but some people, it may be their first time, right? So you want to show them example of what sample blurbs look like. What you can do is you can have like ChatGPT create sample blurbs, or you can take examples from other books, and they don't have to be similar to your book, honestly. It can be another book, and just literally copy and paste the endorsement and then how the person is titled, right? So for Janice Torres, host of award-winning podcast Yo Quiero Dinero podcast, right? So that's helpful to help people realize what you're looking for, especially for those that are newer to these kinds of requests. And by me doing that, again, you want to make it an easy lift for these people that are doing you a favor. So by you giving them examples showing that I don't want an essay from you, I just need one sentence, 2 to 3 powerful sentences on why this book is a must read from your point of view to potential readers. That's really all you need, right? So by me being able to give people examples of what this is what a blurb would look like, of course, customize it to make it your own words. I was actually able to get several women to write me 2 blurbs. So they were kind enough to say, hey, I loved your book. I wrote 2 blurbs. Just choose the one that you want. So I thought that was really cool. And I think that's because, again, I did a lot of the heavy lifting by making it easy for them to create a blurb. The don't here is, so back to the do. So when you offer the sample blurbs for inspiration, also be clear on how their endorsement will be used, right? So of course, it's going to be used on the cover of the book. It might be used on your website. It might be used on media outreach. It might be used on socials, right? That's something I did. I showcased all the amazing women that wrote a blurb for me, and I did a carousel post on why they're leaders in the community, why I look up to them, and what their endorsement was for Cultura Cash. So I think that's important to be clear with those people who, again, you're cloud chasing from on how you will be using their blurb. Now, on the don't of this, don't overuse the blurb. A blurb should be just one tool out of all the marketing that you're doing. If all your marketing is all these women endorse my book, buy my book, you're not doing a good job marketing your book. Again, it should be just one small piece of getting people interested in reading and buying your book. The book should carry its own weight. The content in the book and you as an author and your experience should be what should be selling the book. It should not be the women or the people or publications that endorse your book. Of course, again, it helps. It's like the cherry on top, but it should not be the deal breaker. And here, for example, I was very respectful in how I use Eva's blurb because I respect Eva Longoria. I look up to Eva Longoria, and I did not take that lightly, right? That her and her team allowed me to clout chase and use her name for my launch and for Cultura Cash. So I have her endorsement on the front cover, of course. I got her permission to include it on my website, and that's it. I've actually asked to include it in other places. So for example, I have a speaker sheet and I wanted to include it there and they didn't feel comfortable with it. And that's completely fine, right? Again, that's their brand. It's up to them how I can use it. For me, it's already plenty of help that I was able to use it on my book cover and on my website. And then I also have shared it on social media, and I asked to, and I showed the carousels. That's what it's going to look like. They loved it. Yes, please. Happy to support. But do you think it's something that I constantly keep harping over? Oh, Eva Longoria endorsed my book. Eva Longoria endorsed my book. No, because again, that's just one element of my book launch. It's not the whole enchilada, right? What should be selling the book again is the content. So I think that's important to be respectful out of the people that are helping you with this favor. Somebody who's really good at this, it's kind of a different scope, but my book coach, Stacy, I've left her review as a book coach. And even though I've let her use it for any purposes that she wants, marketing, whatever, she's still really good about like, hey, Gio, I'm actually going to relaunch this program and I would love to share this endorsement that you gave for my coaching services. Is that okay? And I'm like, of course, I want you to get more clients. Yes, please. Right. But I really appreciate that she takes the time to make sure that my name isn't being overused, because again, like people want to be in control of their brand and how they're out in the public. And by them doing you this one-time favor, that doesn't mean that you get access to their name recognition for the rest of your life, So be mindful of that. Speaking of Eva, let me know if you want a separate episode on how to land a celebrity endorsement. I've met with other women who have dreams of writing a book and they're like, oh my God, I would love America Ferrera to endorse my book. I would love Becky G to endorse my book. So the road to Eva is what I called it when I was pursuing that blurb from Eva. I actually documented it on my close friend stories on Instagram. And it took a while. It wasn't an easy ask, and there were a lot of hoops to jump through, but it was very worth it, and I have a lot to share there too. So if you're interested in me doing a podcast episode specifically on that, let me know. Otherwise, that is it for today. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a review, rate, comment on Spotify, share on IG stories, tag me at Gigi, the First Gen Mentor, and I'll make sure to show you some love. If you have any more questions that you'd like to hear about on the podcast, email me at hi@thefirstgenmentor.com. Thanks for listening, and hasta la próxima.